It feels like you're standing at a slot machine, pulling the lever on a $700,000 bet. Except it's not a slot machine. It's a house in the middle of the Nevada desert, and the jackpot is financial ruin. And let me tell you, after watching these markets for years, the house always wins. It always wins. Stay with me on this road trip, and I'll show you the 10 cities where the housing bubble looks paper thin, based on the frightening data coming out of mid-2025. You'll see exactly which zip codes are flashing red, and why some analysts are quietly forecasting a painful correction heading into 2026. This is your survival guide to the markets that are quietly teetering on the edge. You think the Vegas Strip is the biggest gamble? The real risks are hiding in the quiet cul-de-sacs. Wait until you hear about city number 3, where a Zillow report just showed new listings are sitting on the market twice as long as last year. Twice as long. If you're tired of playing a rigged game, hit subscribe so you don't get played. Let's hit the road. Number 10. Carson City. You pull off the highway, leaving the vast, empty desert behind, and roll into what's supposed to be the sensible, grown-up part of Nevada. This is Carson City, the state capital. No flashing lights, no 24-hour chaos, just orderly streets, historic buildings, and a quiet sense of stability. This is where the people who run the state live. Government workers, administrators, the people with steady paychecks and sensible shoes. And that's precisely why it's on this list. Because when a town like this gets swept up in a housing frenzy, you know the bubble has gone mainstream. The median home price here, according to data from the Nevada Association of Realtors for the first half of 2025, is hovering around $560,000. Let that sink in. This isn't a tech hub, it's not a glamorous tourist trap, it's a city of state employees. The price-to-income ratio here has become a quiet catastrophe. The very people who keep the state running are now priced out of their own capital. We're talking about a market where home prices have shot up over 40% since the madness of 2020, while government salaries have barely budged. You see for sale signs that look a little weathered, a little sun-bleached. That's because, as Redfin's mid-year report confirms, homes are sitting on the market an average of 55 days now, a jump of nearly 30% from last year. The buyers who were once panic bidding are now sitting on their hands, crippled by interest rates. The illusion of a safe government town is evaporating. It's a classic case of a stable community getting high on an unstable market. The foundation is solid, but the house is built on speculative sand. Is a city full of government jobs a truly safe bet in real estate? Or is it just a bubble with better-funded public parks? Let me know what you think. Number 9. Elko. You drive for hours through the high desert, a sea of sagebrush under a massive sky. You think you're in the middle of nowhere, and then, shimmering in the distance, you see it. Elko. This isn't a suburb or a resort town. This is a frontier town, built on the back of one thing: gold. The streets feel gritty, the air is dry, and the bars look like they've seen a few things. This place has a boom and bust cycle baked into its DNA, and right now, the housing market is reflecting a serious gold fever. You're looking at a median home price that, as of mid-2025 data from local realtor boards, is pushing $450,000. In a town of 20,000 people, hours from any major city. You have to ask yourself, what on earth is supporting that number? The answer is the price of gold. According to the Nevada Mining Association, mining accounts for a staggering percentage of the local economy. When gold prices are high, the mines hire, bonuses flow, and people start bidding up the price of the few houses available. It's a classic single-industry town on steroids. But here's the terrifying part. You're not just buying a house, you're making a speculative bet on the global commodities market. Your home's equity is now tied to geopolitical events, inflation reports, and the whims of international investors. CoreLogic's latest risk models highlight markets like this as exceptionally vulnerable to commodity price swings. A 10% drop in gold prices could translate into a local recession almost overnight. The jobs dry up, the money vanishes, and all that inflated home value, it evaporates. It's like tying your 30-year mortgage to a roulette wheel. The house of cards here isn't made of cards, it's made of gold-plated 2x4s. Would you ever be willing to bet your life savings on the price of a precious metal, or is this just the definition of financial insanity? Number 8. Mesquite. You head south toward the Arizona border, and the landscape transforms. The rugged desert softens, replaced by lush green golf courses, rows of palm trees, and pristine terracotta-roofed homes. This is Mesquite, Nevada's retirement oasis. It's quiet, it's clean. It was supposed to be the affordable escape for people cashing out of California, a place where you could live out your golden years on the fairway without going broke. But that promise has become a cruel joke, and the dream is rapidly turning into a financial trap. You're looking at a median home price that, according to Zillow's mid-2025 data, is now cresting $480,000. That's for a house in a town whose entire economy is built around leisure for people on fixed incomes. The math simply does not work. The Social Security Administration reports the average retiree benefit is just over $2,000 a month. How, in any sane world, does that support a $500,000 mortgage? For years, this market was propped up by a steady stream of equity refugees, retirees who sold their million-dollar homes in San Diego and paid cash here. But that stream is drying up. The pool of cash buyers is shrinking, and what's left is a market completely disconnected from its target demographic. As Redfin has noted, inventory is starting to pile up. Homes that used to sell in a weekend are now sitting for months. Sellers are holding on to peak 2022 prices, while the buyers, the actual retirees this place was built for, are walking away. They can't afford the price, they can't afford the interest rates, and they certainly can't afford the ballooning HOA fees that come with these golf course communities. It's a market built on a fantasy, and the fantasy is over. Has the American dream of a comfortable retirement just become another luxury good, only available to the already wealthy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 7. Pahrump. You leave the manicured retirement communities in your rearview mirror and push west, over a mountain range and into a wide, dusty valley. The landscape gets raw, unpolished. This is Pahrump. For years, this was the escape route for Las Vegas, the main option for anyone priced out of the city. It was the place you went when you had few alternatives, the final stop on the road to affordability. But that route has closed, and now the town feels confining. This is a classic ex-urban bubble. When Vegas prices soared, a wave of buyers looking for affordability washed over this town. The median home price, which was once an afterthought, climbed to over $380,000 by early 2025, according to data from the local MLS. Think about that. Nearly $400,000 to live in a town where the primary industries are retail, service work, and retirement. The numbers are a mathematical impossibility. U.S. Census data shows the average household income here is nowhere near enough to support these prices without the life support of yesterday's 2% interest rates. People bought the dream, but they also signed up for a difficult commute, an exhausting 60-mile drive to Las Vegas, each way. Now, with stubbornly high gas prices, that commute is a significant financial burden. And the market is showing the strain. Redfin's regional reports from the second quarter of 2025 indicate that inventory here is swelling. Homes are sitting longer, price cuts are becoming the norm, and the fear of missing out has been replaced by the quiet anxiety of being the last one holding the bag. This isn't a market built on a strong local economy. It was built on cheap debt and an urgent need for housing. How long would you be willing to commute to own a home? Is there a point where the drive itself makes you financially worse off than renting? Number 6. Fernley. You head back north, cutting east of Reno, and the scenery changes again. The dramatic mountains give way to a flatter, tougher-looking landscape. This is Fernley, a town built on logistics, railroads, and the promise of a 30-minute commute. You see warehouses, truck stops, and rows of nearly identical homes marching across the desert floor. This place isn't trying to be pretty, it's trying to be practical. It was the answer for every family that got priced out of the Reno Sparks boom, the working-class refuge just down the interstate. But that refuge has become its own kind of prison. The median home price here exploded, hitting an unbelievable $430,000, according to the Northern Nevada Regional MLS data for mid-2025. That's a price tag propped up by one single assumption, that the high-paying jobs in Reno would last forever. For years, people signed on the dotted line, accepting a soul-crushing commute on I-80 in exchange for a slice of equity. It was a deal that made sense when the tech and manufacturing sectors in Reno were on fire. Now, the fire is dying down. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has reported a noticeable cooling in job growth for the Reno-Sparks metro area through the first half of 2025. The high-wage hiring spree is slowing. And what happens to the bedroom community when the bedroom door gets slammed shut? You're seeing it happen in real time. Redfin's latest market analysis shows homes in Fernley are now sitting for an average of 70 days, a 50% increase from last year. The desperate commuters are gone. What's left is a town with a housing market priced for a boom that's already in the rearview mirror. Is saving a little on a mortgage worth tying your entire financial future to the economy of a city you don't even live in? Number 5. Sparks. You barely have to touch the gas pedal to get from Reno to here. Sparks is Reno's shadow. It's less glamorous but arguably more honest twin brother. You cross the city line and the vibe shifts. The casinos feel a little older, the streets a little wider. The whole place feels more grounded, more blue-collar. For decades, Sparks was the deal. It was the sensible answer for anyone who worked in Reno but couldn't stomach the price tag. But that deal has expired. The sensible alternative has become a financial absurdity. You're looking at a median home price that, according to the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors, is now hovering at a breathtaking $580,000 in mid-2025. Let me say that again. Over $500,000 for the affordable town. You are paying a Reno premium for a Sparks address, and the market is starting to realize how insane that is. You're getting the B-side track for the A-side price. While Reno at least had the veneer of a tech and tourism boom, Sparks' economy is more heavily reliant on manufacturing and logistics. Solid jobs, but not the kind that typically support this level of housing cost. The cracks are showing, and they're getting wider. A sobering report from Zillow's first half 2025 analysis shows a 15% increase in the number of listings with price reductions here compared to last year. Sellers are blinking. The bluff is being called. The buyers who once flooded this market, desperate for anything cheaper than Reno, are now paralyzed by interest rates and the terrifying realization that they might be buying a depreciating asset. It's a market built on the overflow from another bubble. And as bad as this feels, we're only halfway through this road trip. The top 4 cities are where the dream truly becomes a nightmare. When does an affordable alternative stop being a smart move and start being a sucker's bet? Number 4. North Las Vegas. You drive into the sprawling northern edge of the Las Vegas Valley, and the landscape is a sea of beige stucco under a relentless sun. This is North Las Vegas. You see master-planned communities pressed right up against the raw desert, a frontier of new construction that seems to stretch on forever. This city was ground zero for the first-time homebuyer dream during the pandemic. It was the land of FHA loans, zero down payments, and the promise of a brand new home for a seemingly affordable price. Now it's looking more like ground zero for the next wave of financial heartbreak. The median home price here, as reported by the Las Vegas Realtors Association for mid-2025, is sitting at around $450,000. But that number doesn't tell the real story. The real story is in the debt. This market was built on the back of historically low interest rates and a flood of buyers who stretched their finances to the absolute breaking point to get in. According to a recent analysis by a national credit bureau, North Las Vegas has one of the highest concentrations of highly leveraged homeowners in the state. These are families where the mortgage payment consumes a terrifying percentage of their monthly income. There is no cushion here, there is no room for error. A single job loss, a medical emergency, a major car repair, any one of these things could be the tipping point. And the market data is starting to reflect that stress. CoreLogic's early distress indicators for the second quarter of 2025 show a small but unnerving uptick in early-stage delinquencies in this very area. It's just a whisper right now, but it's the kind of whisper that precedes a scream. The new homes look shiny, but the financial foundations are brittle. This isn't a bubble of speculation, it's a bubble of desperation. Is owning a home still a path to the middle class, or has it become the fastest way to financial ruin for an entire generation?
Number 3. Henderson. You leave the atmosphere of North Las Vegas behind and drive southeast, and it's like crossing into another dimension. The streets get wider, the landscaping becomes immaculate, and the homes get bigger, much bigger. Welcome to Henderson, the sprawling, affluent suburb that has long been considered one of the most desirable places to live in Nevada. This is where the doctors, the lawyers, and the successful casino executives built their communities. It's a city that practically radiates success. But right now, it's radiating a sense of quiet uncertainty. The median home price here is still, on paper, a high $700,000, according to Zillow's mid-2025 data. But that number may not reflect the current market. It's a figure from a previous era of low interest rates. The reality on the ground is a market with very little movement. The high-end buyers are no longer active. According to a recent Redfin market report, luxury homes, those priced over $1 million, are now sitting on the market for an average of over 100 days. 100 days! That's a long time in real estate, and a significant change from the bidding wars of just 2 years ago. You drive through these gorgeous, silent neighborhoods, past perfectly manicured lawns, and you see the for sale signs. They're everywhere. This isn't a drop in prices, not yet. It's a lack of liquidity. It's the sound of few transactions happening. Sellers are in a difficult position, holding on to the peak 2022 valuations in their minds, and are hesitant to accept that the high price they expected is gone. They won't lower their prices, and buyers, facing the harsh reality of a 7% mortgage, simply can't afford them. So, the houses just sit and sit and sit. All while the substantial HOA fees for these master-planned communities keep coming, month after month. If your home's value dropped by 30% on paper, but you chose not to sell, have you really lost any money? Or is that just a way to rationalize the situation?
Number 2. Reno. You drive back over the mountains, past Lake Tahoe, and into the biggest little city in the world. And for a while, it really felt like it was living up to the hype. You see the Truckee River running through downtown, the trendy murals on old brick buildings, the new coffee shops next to the old pawn shops. This was supposed to be the promised land, the cool, affordable alternative to the Bay Area. Tech companies like Tesla and Apple set up shop, and a flood of remote workers with California salaries followed, turning the city into a full-blown tech bro gold rush. The result was a housing market that went completely, certifiably insane. The median home price, according to the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors, rocketed to an unbelievable $620,000 by mid-2025. This wasn't a market based on local wages. It was a market colonized by outside money. But gold rushes don't last forever. The national tech industry has been contracting, with layoffs and hiring freezes becoming the new normal, and that chill is blowing right through Reno. The Bureau of Labor Statistics data for the first half of 2025 confirms a significant slowdown in professional and tech sector job growth for the region. The boom is over, and the hangover is brutal. Redfin's latest analysis shows that active listings have nearly doubled year over year. Homes that were getting 20 offers are now sitting for 60, 70, even 80 days. Price reductions aren't just common, they're expected. The investors and flippers who were driving prices into the stratosphere have vanished, leaving behind a city with California home prices and a Nevada economy struggling to support them. It's a city that sold its soul for a tech boom, and now the bill is coming due. Is this what happens when a city tries to import an economy instead of building one? Or is this just the price of progress? Number 1. Las Vegas. And here we are, the final stop on this tour of financial insanity. The glittering neon heart of the desert. This isn't just the worst city on the list, it's the grand finale of the entire American housing delusion. This is the city that taught the world how to build a bubble, how to watch it burst, and is now, against all logic and sanity, doing it all over again. You look at the Strip and you see the illusion of infinite money, but you drive 10 minutes in any direction and you see the truth. A city built on low-wage service jobs supporting million-dollar dreams. The market here isn't just a market, it's a casino, and everyone has been playing with house money. According to a scathing report from CoreLogic analyzing investor activity, at the peak of the frenzy, nearly 1/3 of all home sales in Las Vegas were to investors. 1/3. Not families, not locals, speculators. Now, with the party ending, those same investors are the first to the exits. The Las Vegas Realtors Association's own data from mid-2025 shows active listings have spiked by over 60% year over year. The supply is flooding the market, just as buyer demand, crippled by interest rates, has vanished. This whole city's economy is balanced on the head of a pin. It's entirely dependent on tourism and gaming, the first two things people cut from their budgets when a recession hits. We saw this movie in 2008. We saw entire neighborhoods turn into ghost towns. It wasn't a correction, it was an annihilation. And yet, here we are again. The median home price is still clinging to $500,000, a number completely unsupported by local incomes. It is pure, uncut speculation. This isn't a housing market, it's a 30-year fixed-rate bet that the party will never, ever stop. But it always does. The house always wins. Is the American dream of homeownership a legitimate aspiration, or has it just become the biggest, most dangerous casino game of them all? So there you have it, the American dream, brought to you by the same odds you get at a crap stable. We've driven through government towns with private sector prices, mining economies built on a prayer, and retirement dreams funded by a market that has already run out of fuel. The one thing they all have in common is a price tag that reality can no longer support. So, is this just a necessary market correction, or are we watching the first dominoes fall? If you want to stay ahead of the next financial trap, subscribe for more brutal honesty.